Welcome back, everybody, to Bridgeport, Connecticut with Rob Kennedy. This is Doug Sherman as the evening doubleheader on quarterfinal Saturday is just moments away from tipping off between Niagara and Ryder. Our Verizon Wireless keys to the game brought to you by Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
Well, anytime you're playing against Niagara, you got to rebound the basketball and finish off defensive possessions. Ryder's got to make some three-point shots on the perimeter to open things up inside for Jason Thompson in the paint. Niagara, they've got to make sure they get a number of different bodies on Jason Thompson. You can't give them room to maneuver, and then they've got to force Ryder to go big. Doug, this will be a game a little bit cat and mouse. Which of the matchup problems gives the opposing coach more problems? The four guards for Tommy Dempsey or the big interior players for Joe Mahalik?
And the coaching matchup brought to you by Anaconda Sports and The Rock, the official basketball of the MAAC. Joe Mahalik is the sage veteran.
Oh, yeah.
Having won this thing a couple of years ago, Tommy Dempsey in his second season as the head coach at Ryder, first year as the full-time after being an interim head coach a year ago. But they have really come together here. The record of 16-14 overall. They went 9-9 in MAAC play. And hard to believe that you can go 500 during the regular season and you have to play in that Friday night first-round game.
But I think that was a benefit for them, and certainly a good break because they were able to get a win. They were able to secure a winning season by getting their 16th win. And also now, with all their young players, they've won a game in the MAAC tournament, and now it's something that they can build upon.
And that's absolutely the way Coach Dempsey was looking at it, rather than being concerned with 4 games in 4 days potentially, looking at the positives that, well, we got our feet wet and we actually played pretty well last night.
And Brown able to knife into the middle of the zone defense for Ryder. Got himself an open look in the paint, but could not convert.
The Bronx as the lower seed, wearing their road cranberry uniforms with the trim. Here's the younger brother of Jason Thompson going to his left hand. Ryan Thompson, 6'5" freshman, with the first 2 points here this evening.
Certainly a guy that's capable of scoring the basketball.
Lorenzo Miles off the mark on his first attempt. Mouton pulls the trigger. And just like that, 5-0 Ryder.
And coming into the tournament, he had made just one of his last 17 three-point shots, but he was able to knock down a couple of threes last night. And Tommy Dempsey was hoping that that helps his confidence.
A younger cousin of former University of Texas star Brandon Mouton with a three-point shot, now off of the rebound. And it's a team rebound for the Bronx. They will get it on top by 5.
And as we said, that's a key coming in. Niagara gets after it on the offensive glass. They're quick, strong, and athletic up front, and certainly can give you problems on the offensive glass.
Mouton's a 5'11" senior from Lafayette, Louisiana. Lob inside to Jason Thompson. Misses on the spin, and Cliff Brown, one of the better interior players in the conference, pulls down his first rebound. Brown is a 6'7" senior for Niagara, who's second in the league in rebounding behind only Jason Thompson. They are 1-2 in the league. Miles again for 3, this time without Johnson closing hard. He knocks down that three-point shot, and the Purple Eagles are on the board.
And Miles finished the regular season strong with 19 points in their last game, last time out against Ryder. His ability to stretch out the defense, a 34% shooter on the season from beyond the arc.
And now he is the all-time three-point king in Niagara history. With that three-pointer, he has just passed Jeff O'Connor for first on the all-time list. Miles made third-team all-conference this year, and certainly one of the better point guards in the conference. Fisher and Brown battling for the defensive rebound. Lost it, so Ryder will keep possession on top by 2. Harris Mansell coming off a good first-round game. Out there with Johnson, Mouton, and then the 2 Thompson brothers. Mansell picks his way to a free spot and hits the teardrop over Duffy.
He continues his fine play after you said Doug had a good performance last night. 7 for 11 from the field, part of his 18 points.
That came against Iona as they eliminated the Gales last night. Traveling violation against Sharon Fisher.
Well, Fisher does such a great job of sitting in the post. You can see he's a wide body for Joe Mihalik's team. They get him a ton of touches inside.
But he's a guy who, in his college career, has had a hard time avoiding injuries. He is a third-year junior at Niagara, and this is the first MAAC tournament that Sharon Fisher has played in. Injuries have cost him the tail end of both his freshman and sophomore seasons.
This year, the reverse. He missed the first 8 games of the season, sitting out due to suspension. But since he came back and Niagara's been able to get everybody together and on the same page, they've been one of the hottest teams in the MAAC.
And keep your eyes on number 24 in white. If not for that suspension, right now he would be second in the MAAC in scoring and 9th in the country in scoring at 21.8 points per game. Cliff Brown misses. If Niagara is to win tonight and move on to the semis, he will then have played in 75% of their games and then would qualify for that league scoring chase. And Sharon Fisher would also be in the top 10 in the country officially in points per game. Off the bench for the first time for Niagara, Stanley Hodge, who has been a terrific player at the point late in the regular season for Niagara. And off the turnover, here goes Miles straight to the tin for 2.
Good hustle by Harris Mansell, but not a good decision. He would have been better off keeping the basketball, taking it out of bounds. Instead, he gets an assist to the wrong team as Niagara's able to score the easy one.
Tyrone Lewis also into the game, the all-freshman guard from Levittown, Pennsylvania. So right now, 3 different options around the perimeter for Joe Mihalik. A senior, a junior, and a freshman, all very, very talented. Offensive foul against Jason Thompson. Fisher stood his ground and took the charge.
And that's how you got to crowd him. You got to make sure you get enough bodies around Jason Thompson so he doesn't have room to dominate inside.
Purple Eagles like to get up and down the floor, led by their senior floor general, Lorenzo Miles, 7'5" rider.
Canisius College in the city of Buffalo, one of 28 Jesuit universities across the nation, offering more than 70 undergraduate and graduate programs in the liberal arts, business, and education. Canisius prepares graduates to become leaders in their professions and in their communities. Personal attention, internships, service learning, and co-curricular activities provide opportunities to expand leadership skills and launch successful careers and lives. Canisius College, where leaders are made.
It's the Bank of America MAAC Basketball Championship in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Quarterfinal number 3 has Rider with the early lead. And let's take a look at the series history brought to you by Pontiac, the official performance machines of the NCAA and of the MAAC. This is the second time in a week that these two schools have met. Niagara just last Sunday beat Rider 89-77 in that game, Rob. The Purple Eagles only turned the ball over 7 times, and Sharon Fisher went for 24 points.
And they won that game without Cliff Brown. Cliff Brown missed the last 2 games of the regular season due to illness, and certainly you can see what type of presence he gives them, especially inside. Long athlete. One of the reasons why they're able to dominate the offensive glass.
Yeah, good to see the senior from Ferndale, Michigan, over that viral infection so that he can play here in the MAAC tournament. And as far as the Purple Eagles are concerned, beyond. Niagara comes in on the 8-game winning streak. Tyrone Lewis has been a big part of that on the all-MAAC rookie team. And, you know, as we said yesterday, nobody at all would be surprised if it's Niagara on Monday that wins the championship. Because from the point where they got Sharon Fisher back and into the mix, they have been terrific.
And they've got the ability to make up for not shooting the ball well, as they did on that possession. 3 different opportunities because of their athletic front line that can, if they're not making shots, go get extra opportunities off the glass.
Tyrone Lewis admits to being only 5'10", but you'd never know it by the way he plays above the rim. There's Fisher with the rebound on the defensive end. Here is Hodge, who over the last 5 games has been outstanding. There's Brown, can't get the roll over Thompson, who gets the rebound, and a quick outlet to Mouton.
Did everything but finish it. Good move inside.
Nice up fake by Johnson. Can't make Purple Eagles pay. Mouton comes up well short. And on the fly, Lorenzo Miles quickly the other way. Lewis for 3. Out of bounds off of Mansell, and so the Purple Eagles will keep it.
Yeah, Rider not finishing off those defensive possessions. As we talked about, that's a key coming in. You've got to box out and keep the Purple Eagles off the boards. Quick shot on the other end for Terrence Mouton. Those are not the shots that you want from your senior point guard. Quick shot allows the rebound and run for Niagara.
Well, clearly the Marist Red Foxes are the team to beat here this weekend in the MAAC tournament, the #1 seed. But Matt Brady, who you spoke to after their win about a half hour, 45 minutes ago, said earlier this week that for him, Niagara is the toughest team to defend. There's a big part of the reason why. Cliff Brown, you can rattle off the top players for the Purple Eagles and easily forget about him, but you shouldn't forget about him. 16 points, 9 rebounds per game. He's one of the best double-double machines in the entire country. And here he picks up the foul. He and Thompson, this is a great matchup here tonight on the post.
The league coaches didn't forget about him. They voted him to the MAAC All-League team, second team. Brown stretching you out, and a lot like Jason Smith, another post player that can step out and knock down threes. So Jason Smith for Marist knocked down a couple threes in our last game. Brown coming in, he's got 41 threes on the season at 33%.
The Purple Eagles in the midst of a 10-2 run to open up this 3-point lead. Shot clock down to 17. Hodge, when he is in, he will run the point. Fisher left his feet, and Thompson picked off the pass.
Well, Niagara's been able to get the ball into the gut of the zone defense to get it into the paint, but they've turned it over a couple of times.
The foul will send Barney Anderson, a sophomore from Jersey City, New Jersey, to the line. Former star at St. Anthony's High School.
And as Niagara starts getting after it on the glass, it forces Tommy Dempsey to make a substitution and get Barney Anderson into the game. He's in there for his defense and rebounding. Yet with his movement without the basketball, gets himself an opportunity from the line.
For Anderson, he missed a lot of time at the start of the season because of a broken toe. Had a 9 games that he couldn't play for Tommy Dempsey.
Barney Anderson, as you said, out of Jersey City, New Jersey, played for the St. Anthony's Friars, one of the best high school programs in the country. Their head coach, Bob Hurley, the legendary coach, one of the finalists for the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. A well-deserved honor for not only one of the best high school coaches in the history of the game, but one of the best teachers of the game at any level.
Well, he is in many ways on a par with DeMatha's Morgan Wooten, who is one of the mentors to Joe Mihalik on the other bench.
Yep, Joe Mihalik, before he got into college coaching, was an assistant for Morgan Wooten, the only high school coach who's in the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. But that will change quickly. Whether or not Bob Hurley gets in on this ballot, over time he's going to find himself up in Springfield. Well-deserved honor.
Benson Ejimonye with the slam dunk, a young man who's seen very limited time this year, but coming off a career-high 6.7 rebound effort in the regular season finale against the same Ryder Bronx. So as Thompson answers at the other end, we'll see Ejimonye a little bit more here tonight. See if he can continue that success from a week ago.
Yeah, Joe Mihalik said, I'm going to get him minutes. Obviously, he played well against Ryder last time out when he got minutes because Cliff Brown wasn't there. But he said his size at times, he thinks, will have the ability to potentially bother Jason Thompson.
Now, Ejimonye is a 6'10 sophomore from Nigeria who began his college career at Northeastern before transferring to Niagara. Anderson couldn't corral the pass from Mouton, and here comes the lightning-quick Tyrone Lewis with the pull-up from 16 off the back iron, and then the long arms of Jason Thompson. Doesn't let anybody else get near it.
Nope, Inspector Gadget. It just keeps stretching out there. You see it defensively as he blocks shots. One of the reasons why he was the MAAC Defensive Player of the Year.
Cam Warner in the game now, a reserve guard for Ryder. Talk about guys finishing the season strong. Warner has done that as well. Thompson off the glass and in.
And that's where he's so tough to guard, especially when he gets isolated one-on-one in the post. Talking to Joe Mihalik earlier today, he said it's hard to double down inside against Jason Thompson because if you double in off their guards with 4 guards on the floor, you're giving up too many threes.
Niagara with the ball and a 1-point lead, 12-11, nearing the midpoint of the first half here in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Duffy, little runner, gonna wave it off. Offensive foul. Barney Anderson did a nice job to pick up the charge.
Joe Mihalik was looking for the basket. He thought the ball was out of his hands before the contact.
Back-to-back buckets by the big fella. Jason Thompson has pulled Ryder back within a point of Niagara.
450 years of Jesuit tradition are woven into a Fairfield University education, an education characterized by academic excellence and service to the community. Fairfield's success is fostered by a caring faculty that knows their students as individuals. Located just an hour from New York City, Fairfield University combines a park-like campus conducive to learning with the city's cultural and career advantages. Fairfield University, where education reflects the challenges and opportunities of a changing world.
Scott Snell, one of our terrific photographers, cameramen, working the long shift, and so he's on a break checking out the website. Clearly he's on MAACsports.com. They all have to trade off. I mean, seriously, yesterday the crew did 4 women's games and 2 men's games, and then today another 6 games, 4 men, 2 women. So they need a break from time to time, and you should check out that website if you've missed any of the action over the last couple of days, MAACsports.com. And also the guys in the truck, they're all for the most part here through the entire tournament. Rob and I are the lucky ones just to come in and do a few games here and there, but it's the crew that brings it all to you. Mouton and Thompson around the perimeter, along with Cam Warner, who feeds Jason Thompson.
And they get very different spacing when Vasilla's on the floor.
A lot of contact, no call. Ball comes back out to Mouton from 21. Cliff Brown the rebound.
Well, you want Mouton to be confident stepping in and knocking down some threes, but he's misfired on a couple deep threes. That as well was a couple steps beyond the three-point line.
Rydell Brooks with the basketball, a freshman from Akron, Ohio. Cross-court skip pass to Duffy. Brooks swings it back to Hodge.
They've had good ball reversal against the zone defense.
Corner jump shot is good for J.R. Duffy, the senior out of Fort Worth, Texas.
And at times, he's really the forgotten man out of this crew. The seniors had good numbers all season long, averaging over 11 points per game.
And last weekend against Ryder, he joined the 1,000-point club, along with many of his teammates. Well, before we went to the last break, we talked a little bit about Jason Thompson, the 6'10 junior star, who averages 20 points per game, second most in the MAAC, averaging the double-double. And, you know, he has his name with some pretty elite company. His 16 double-doubles this year, Rob, one behind the NCAA leaders, 3 of them including Kevin Durant of Texas and Nick Fazekas of Nevada.
Yeah, 2 of the only guys in the country that have averaged 20 points and 10 boards. And after his performance last night, Jason Thompson climbed above that 20 and 10 plateau.
Cliff Brown averages nearly a double-double. He's at 16 points and 9.5 rebounds per game. And as you see, he's got 5 points as Niagara stretches the lead to 6. Cam Warner into Vosilla. Working on Fisher, a couple of wide bodies banging underneath, and Fisher with the rebound.
Well, Vosilla gave him some good minutes in the first half of last night's game. Tommy Dempsey trying to go back to the well, see if he can't get some interior scoring from Vosilla again today.
Well, with Vosilla in the game as Fisher frees himself for the tip-in. You gotta love that zone, the backside of the zone when Jason Thompson is a forward in that zone. How'd you like to be trying to get the wing jumper off over him coming at you?
Well, tough. That's why if you can get it in transition as they're doing right now and off the offensive board, then all of a sudden good things are going to happen. Ryder taking quick shots at the other end, quick misses, allowing Ryder to get out in transition. It's hard enough to block out Niagara out of your stationary half-court sets out of the defensive end. And now when they get quick shots in transition, really hard to find guys. You don't put a body on them. Sharon Fisher and their entire front court's got the ability to finish it up and clean things in off the offensive boards.
Well, Loyola coach Jimmy Patsos calls Sharon Fisher Baby Barkley. As you see the 17 double-doubles on the other end for Jason Thompson. But part of the package for Sharon Fisher is working that offensive glass, as we've seen him tip in a couple of misses in the last minute.
Well, that's one of the reasons why it's such a key coming in, that you got to block out and keep them off the offensive boards. It's also one of the reasons why there's such a dangerous team coming into the tournament. You figure 3 games in 3 days, you're going to misfire and not shoot the ball well maybe one night, but they've got the ability to fix that by getting after it on the offensive board.
Must be something in the water out in western New York and Niagara County, Erie County, that those are the 2 teams that are best on the offensive glass.
And when Niagara won the championship 2 years ago, they were the same way. They were by far the best rebounding team in the MAAC.
It's now a 12-0 run after J.R. Duffy knocks down another 3-pointer.
As we said, the forgotten man at times. He is the silent assassin, knocking down a couple of threes.
Mouton breaks that run with a nice drive to the basket.
And breaks the run by breaking down the defense, not settling for the deep 3, instead putting the ball to the floor and getting himself inside.
Fisher stepping out, misfires, and bodies flying everywhere. Looks like Cliff Brown or Jason Thompson will be called for the foul. Foul goes against Cliff Brown. But lately it's been all Niagara. J.R. Duffy with a couple of threes as the Purple Eagles lead by 11.
I know most of you just graduated high school last year, or maybe you've been working for a while, seen some things, done some things, but nothing has prepared you for what's going to happen now. We're going to set goals for each of you, way up here, here, way up here, and then we're going to help you exceed them, believe it. And when finished, you're going to have not just a degree, you'll be a different person, a better person. Welcome to Iona.
Aspire, achieve. Iona. Call Iona College at 1-800-231-IONA.
24-13, Niagara has opened up a double-figure lead in a very short period of time. Joe Mihalik's club, 24-13 in front. Hey, MAAC basketball fans, you can win great prizes in the MAAC Pathmark Slam Dunk program at your local Pathmark store. Now through March 9th, when you use your Pathmark Advantage card to buy select flavors of Free Sun, Kool-Aid, or Nabisco single-serve tray packs, you are entered to win a Pathmark gift card or round-trip travel on JetBlue Airways or a gift card from FYE. For more information, visit your local Pathmark store or log on to that conference website, maacsports.com.
Take a look at the stats. Certainly, Ryder doing a decent job shooting the basketball. Just 17 attempts. 3-point shooting has been a problem for Niagara, just 4 of 13, but the big stat, as we see points off turnovers, Niagara able to get out and run. It's been the offensive rebounding of Niagara. They've got 8 offensive rebounds already, and again, when they don't shoot the ball well, they've got an answer for it, able to go get themselves extra opportunities on the boards.
And that turnover, Rob, for Jason Thompson is the 6th against Ryder so far here tonight. Duffy, Miles, Lewis, Fisher, and Ejimonye on the floor for the Purple Eagles in their home white uniforms. Lorenzo Miles for 2.
That was with Jason Thompson coming out of the zone defense to try and challenge the shot. Niagara shooting the ball well.
Harris Mansell back into the game, out there with Terrence Mouton with a quick crossover dribble, looking for his own shot. Tipped by Jason Thompson's off the mark, and Ejimonye again with a rebound.
Giving him good minutes off the bench.
Sharon Fisher calling for the ball, and an offensive foul. Good job by Jason Thompson to stand his ground and to flop.
Yep, as soon as the contact came, he went right to the floor. Fisher turned, and as he ducked his shoulder, made it a little bit easier for the official.
Well, Sharon Fisher is a bull of a man inside, but that said, he also has a lot of finesse to his game.
Yeah, he's got quick feet, especially for his size. One of the rebounds is one of the reasons why. Maybe Patsos called him Little Barkley.
Yep.
Those quick feet, good hands, ability to step outside.
I asked Joe Mihalik earlier this week if indeed Sharon Fisher was healthy. We have seen some of the foot and leg injuries, but according to his coach, he says, yeah, Sharon's all right. He likes to play possum. Said he did have a blister earlier last month that it made it look like his foot had a sixth toe. That was what Joe Mihalik said, that that's why Fisher was hobbling a little bit, but he's okay.
But Ryder's not. Jason Thompson picks up his second foul right there. Another offensive foul. He's picked up 2. That one, tough call. He kept the ball high. That's what you teach guys. Guys are crowding him. You've got to give him space to turn.
And if he gets himself into foul trouble, Ryder could be in trouble. Lewis for 3.
Well, on the other end, he was the guy that flopped as soon as Fisher ran into him. So Joe Mihalik was working the officials coming up the floor the entire way. May have backfired on Jason Thompson because he picked up the quick foul inside.
Here is Jason Thompson working on Edgemonier. And then the blocking foul at the other end. So every time Jason Thompson is near the ball, we get a whistle. This one goes against Edgemonier.
Tyrone Lewis doing a good job finishing things off. Niagara started off slow shooting the basketball, but since then they've gotten hot. 7 out of their last 10 from the field.
Jason Thompson's career high came against these same Purple Eagles with 31 points. He's actually done it twice. Also matched that 31-point total against Siena. But the game back in the middle of January was when he went for 31. Jason Thompson now with 6 points here, as you see. Ryder down by 14.
Well, the officials have been consistent. That's the 4th offensive foul on post-ups. Ryder going to the man-to-man defense. Niagara tries to pound the basketball inside, and as we said, they've been consistent on those turns, and when there's contact, they've sent it the other way.
Under 5 minutes remaining first half. Mansell kicks to Mouton. Ryan Thompson from the head of the key, way off the mark. Long rebound goes untouched out of bounds.
So where Ryder looked so good with their 4-guard offense last night, spreading the floor, putting 4 shooters out on the perimeter and Jason Thompson inside and giving them room to maneuver, they've been out of sync offensively. Part of the reason is they haven't been able to go 4 guards very much, although they've got them back on the floor right now.
And Ryder, typically a good 3-point shooting team, as you see, has missed 5 out of 6.
The reason why they haven't been able to play the 4 guards a whole lot is because Niagara's dominating the offensive glass. You're sitting over there and you're Tommy Dempsey and you go small, and if they start beating you up on the backboards, you got to start bringing some big guys in off the bench.
And if you're Ryder, you've got to get shots for your man Harris Mansell, who hits more than he misses, 51% of the year, yet he has not even attempted a shot so far tonight. And he was a big part of the success last night against Iona. Mansell with a real nice game, going for 18 points in the first round victory over the Gales. Hodge uses the screen from Duffy. Lewis, nice spring to his step, but comes up short on the jumper. Miles pulls it back out to Hodge. Quick catch and release for Duffy. It rims out, long rebound. Still loose. And a timeout called by Joe Mihalik. The moment Duffy got possession before he could do something bad with the basketball, the head coach says, let's talk it over.
And it's certainly frustrating for Tommy Dempsey. You know, coming in, the thing that they harped on all day long today in pregame and as they're getting go is to finish off defensive possessions, rebound the basketball against Niagara, and that has not happened. Niagara with 9 offensive rebounds already.
Well, we're 4 minutes away from halftime. Coming up at the intermission, we'll take you around the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. We'll also hear from Jimmy Patsos, the colorful head coach of the Greyhounds, and also highlights and statistics from this first half of action. The Greyhounds, the last team to arrive here in Bridgeport, coming up at the last possible second from Baltimore.
They came up today, and certainly most times you have everybody in the host city the day before the game, but Loyola has done that throughout the season. They're not afraid to travel the day of game. They did that in their bracket buster game when they went out to Tennessee. And so it's worked for Jimmy Patsos and the Greyhounds.
Lewis, way off the mark. Holy smokes. Hustles back, though. Forces the turnover. Good for him.
Yeah, miss a shot. Don't get your head down and worry about it. Instead, the hustle play to come up with the basketball.
Hegemonier got great position and the little finger roll.
He's given him good minutes, not just on the defensive end, but he's scored it as well.
Now Hegemonier at the defensive end trying to stop Jason Thompson. Offensive foul, number 3, even though Hegemonier appeared to be the one reaching in.
Again, it's been consistent. Every time there's been a turn and contact inside, they've sent it the other way.
Mad scramble for the Purple Eagles pays off with 2 more for Benson Hegemonier.
Every choice really does make a difference. In you. In how you see the world. In where you'll go and what you'll do. In the people you'll touch. In the lives you'll change. Including yours. Niagara University. Education that makes a difference.
We're back in Bridgeport, Connecticut. The Bank of America MAAC basketball tournament. Rider trailing Niagara 31-15. And if you are the Bronx, you don't like this. Jason Thompson, their 20-point, 10-rebound a night performer, on the bench with 3 fouls.
And all 3 of those fouls were offensive fouls on catch and turn. As we said, the officials have been consistent. Every time there's been contact in the post, they've called charges. You see Niagara getting after it on the offensive glass. 10 offensive rebounds, able to convert those rebounds into 11 points.
What a move by Lorenzo Miles, the 5'11 senior from Washington, D.C. Strong enough to go up with the big boys and finish.
Rider, not a very good rebounding team coming in, dead last in the MAAC in rebounding margin, and they are getting themselves beat up inside on the glass so far here tonight.
And that stat is in spite of the fact that they have the #1 individual rebounder. Yep. So when you take him out, what are you going to do?
Well, when they play 4 guards, again, it's hard sometimes to rebound. But you would figure with 4 guards on the floor, you can get out and defend the 3. They've not done that. Another 3 over top by the silent assassin, J.R. Duffy.
And Duffy at 6'8", Brown at 6'7", bigger guys who can step out and shoot over the smaller guards. Kevin Vasilla now taking his chances against Hegemonier, and a traveling violation called against Vasilla.
Well, Niagara team known for their offense. They get up and down the floor and score it, but it's been their defense that certainly has been a big factor here today. Nice drive inside. Lorenzo Miles continues his fine play coming down the stretch. 3rd team All-MAAC is voted by the coaches at season's end.
And Miles has 9 points to lead all scorers in this one so far. He, along with Duffy, have 9. Duffy just misfired on that corner 3. Lamar Johnson snaps another Niagara run. It was 7 in a row until that one.
And Riders got to knock down some threes, just their 2nd 3 of the game. That's one of their strengths as a team. You talk about Harris Mansell and his 51% three-point shooting, but as a team, they shoot it well from beyond the line at 37%.
And still, Mansell has taken just 1 field goal. It was a 2-point shot that he made. And this from a guy who averages over 12 per game, and they need production from him. Johnson knocks it off of Duffy. Nice job. It was a blind behind-the-back pass against the Niagara player, and it paid off.
And so far tonight, Doug, #1 and #2, showing you why they were #1 and #2 coming in. Also showing you how hot both those teams were. Talking about Marist, who was able to advance into the semifinals, having won their 9th consecutive game. Rider Niagara coming in, having won 8 in a row, their longest winning streak since back in 1993.
Under a minute to go, first half. And the struggles continue for the boys from Lawrenceville, New Jersey.
You're starting to see frustration on the Rider Bronc players. Right now, you just got to not worry about the fact that you're being doubled up, down by 18 right now. Tommy Dempsey trying to urge his guys to just start making some progress. Cut into it, chip away. But the first thing they got to do, start playing with some confidence and start rebounding the basketball.
But at the moment, they are being doubled, and their star player on the bench with 3 fouls.
That's not a good formula for success right now.
No, it's not. The winner of this game will get the winner of our nightcap coming up. Loyola will take on Fairfield, the Stags serving as the host school for this year's MAAC tournament. And so we would anticipate that as the evening wears on, a few more folks will enter the arena at Harbor Yard to watch the hometown team. Nice look. Duffy misfires. 15 seconds to go, 16.2 to go in the half, and Rider gets the ball back.
Yeah, they get it back, but again, they can't come up with a clean defensive rebound. Niagara puts so much pressure on you as far as boxing out and trying to keep them off the glass because they send so many guys to the board.
Mouton guarded by Lewis. Mansell with 2 left in the half, misfires. And it's an ugly first 20 minutes for Rider. Niagara is pumped. Joe Mihalik's club riding an 8-game winning streak. Oh, I got to go to the locker room this way. Which way is it?
Doesn't matter. He's going to have good things to talk about once he gets there with his team. Rider on the other side going to try and figure out how to get back in the ball game.
Joe Mihalik greeting the Niagara students who made the long trip here to Bridgeport. All smiles heading into the locker room. The 18 points for the Rider Broncs matches a season low for a single half, and that matches what was probably the low point of the season back on February 25th against Iona when the Gales picked up their only league win of the year. So that's the kind of night it's been so far for Rider here this evening.
Well, they've not been able to get anything going on the offensive end, and credit Niagara. You know, at times they, we talk about their offense and people question their defense, and at times they guard. And certainly so far here tonight, that's been a big part of it. You hold the team to 18 points, you're in good shape.
Cross-court pass to Ryan Thompson. It's going to be his big brother, Jason, who needs to step up if the Broncs are going to get back in this thing.
And they're also going to have to knock down some threes. The Broncs a good three-point shooting team on the season, but not much going so far here tonight from beyond the arc, just 2 of 9.
Fisher posting Mansell. There's a mismatch. And then a jump ball. And the possession arrow gives it back to the Broncs. But in terms of size and strength, there's no shame in saying you have a bad matchup with Sharon Fisher. He is thicker and stronger than most everybody's going to play against. Here's Harris Mansell feeding the post. Jason Thompson, the immediate double team coming from the backside from Fisher. There's Mansell. Fire it up there, young man. He's got his first three-point shot of the evening, back to a 15-point game.
Well, the best three-point shooter in the MAAC as far as percentage goes at 51% on the season.
Rydell Brooks with a 2-point shot.
Well, Brooks, a guy who started most of the season for him, averaging just a little over 5 points per game. He starts but doesn't play the same minutes that Tyrone Lewis and Stanley Hodge do. One of the benefits that Joe Mihalik has. Nice opportunity to bring those two guys off the bench.
Duffy always ready to fire it up. Misses that one. Thompson with a rebound. Mansell into the paint. Misses the left-handed shot. Cliff Brown the rebound, and he's called for the travel as he, Mansell, and Duffy kind of got tangled up underneath the basket.
Mansell able to get deep into the lane. Looked like he took the worst of that there as a couple Purple Eagles knocking him around.
Well, you said they got to start hitting threes. They must have been listening. Now Lamar Johnson gets into the act.
And he's a guy that can make threes guarded or unguarded. He's an athletic shooter, can get off the floor and shoot over top of people. Ryder just trying to get anything going.
He made the All-MAAC rookie team a year ago. This year as a sophomore, averaging 6.5 points per game. He has 6 tonight on a couple of three-pointers. What a block shot. As Brown is denied once, he comes back again. Can't get it to go as Jason Thompson continues to wreak havoc inside on the defensive end. And, well, the Bronx trying to inch their way back into it. Left alone, Ryan Thompson can't connect.
But a good shot, even though it's in transition, a wide open three. Ryder with a little life here to start things off in the second half.
Lorenzo Miles, the senior at the point, out of Gonzaga High School in Washington, D.C. Brown misses. Here comes Thompson to Thompson. Jason Thompson with the two-handed finish.
A bad shot at the other end. Long three leads to a long rebound. Thompson able to leak out, and just like that, Ryder's gotten themselves back into the ball game. Jason Thompson with his first points in the second half.
And he's got 8 for the evening. Coming off a terrific performance in the first round game last night. 24 points, 16 rebounds. Fisher. No good from the high post. Jason Thompson, despite the 3 fouls, just really getting after it on the defensive glass. And then the foul called against Niagara.
Well, in that first half, the Bronx gave up 10 offensive rebounds to Niagara. It's always a struggle. Look at all the white jerseys inside in the paint getting after it on the offensive board, but Ryder able to finally come up with it.
Our first half stats brought to you by FYE for your entertainment, music, movies, games, and more.
You see Niagara with 6 threes, 2 threes on the other side for Ryder, 15 points off turnovers. Niagara did a good job of taking care of the basketball themselves in the first half with just 5 turnovers.
That's a 2-point shot, but nonetheless another perimeter jumper that goes, and Ryder is back within 10.
Well, and chipping quickly. We talked about just making a couple baskets, getting something going to get on a run. Well, they've closed the gap here quickly in the first 4.5 minutes.
Ryder on a 7-2 run, and as much as anything, with Jason Thompson back in there defensively, it's been one and done every time for Niagara.
And all of those ones, the first shot have been deep shots, forcing up some threes. Long shots have led to long rebounds.
4.5 minutes into the second half, Ryder trying to make a game of it again. Ryan Thompson missed. His brother Jason tried to tip it home, but instead, Niagara back at the other end. Tyrone Lewis with another wild shot, hit the side of the backboard. It came back to him. Joe Mihalik wanting a foul call, but didn't get it.
Yeah, I think Lewis thought that there was contact and just kind of put it up in play to see if he could get a 2-shot foul. Instead, no call.
Fisher posting Mansell. The double team Leighton coming from Mouton, and he picks up the foul.
And that's where they can take advantage of Ryder going with 4 guards, bringing the big guy inside to post one of those guards up.
Fisher now with 6 points. He averages nearly 22 per game, and that bucket makes it once again a 12-point lead as the Purple Eagles try to reach the MAAC semifinals.
It's a college in the city.
A college in the country.
It's big.
It's small.
It's modern.
Traditional.
It's Frisbee on the quad.
It's big-time basketball at the Garden.
It's the best of all worlds.
Manhattan College.
A world-class faculty and student body on a beautiful, quiet campus.
Minutes from the center of everything.
So come be a part of it. Manhattan College.
The best of all worlds.
Since the start of the second half, Ryder has outscored Niagara 10-4 to inch its way back into the game, and part of that was a nice little fast break, brother to brother. Ryan Thompson up ahead to Jason Thompson, who delivered our Pepsi Slam of the game. Pepsi more happy.
Well, as we said, if he's got room to maneuver, can't get much more room than that as he's able to get out on the break. And the reasons why Ryder's been able to get back into the ball game. Niagara's gone ice cold here to start things off in the second half, just 2 of 12 from the field.
Sharon Fisher completes the three-point play. He now has 7 points. And it's been good to see Jason Thompson, in spite of the 3 fouls, being very, very aggressive at both ends of the floor. And his teammates have been able to feed off of that. And look at him get after the glass. Fisher finally gets the rebound.
Nearly too aggressive as he came over the back, but no call.
Well, he is so much taller and longer than Fisher. It's conceivable for him to be able to go up and over the back without making contact. Fisher needs to lay a body on him and not allow him to reach up and over the top. Fisher, meanwhile, draws another foul. And he will shoot two. Sharon Fisher, the 6'3", 230 or thereabouts pound junior from Pennsauken, New Jersey, just across the state line from Philadelphia.
Played his high school basketball at Roman Catholic, one of the top high school programs in the country, part of the Philadelphia Catholic League. He was a Philadelphia Catholic League Player of the Year.
And you certainly can understand why. And you can understand how Joe Mihalik would be able to get a great recruit from Philadelphia.
Yep.
After all of the time he spent living in Philadelphia, playing and attending LaSalle University. He's a 1978 grad of LaSalle and was a longtime assistant there under Speedy Morris in the MAAC.
And Speedy Morris was the head coach at Roman Catholic for a long time, had such great success on the high school level before going to LaSalle as first the women's coach and then the men's coach. Thompson, again, with some room to maneuver inside in the post. And you see right there, shaking his head. You can't guard him. You can't guard him one-on-one. At times it's been hard, though, to get him those isolations.
43-30, Niagara with the lead. 14-15 to go second half. We're in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Game number 3 of our quarterfinal Saturday action. Lewis off the pump fake. Miles bobbled the pass and then missed the shot.
And by bobbling it, it allowed Thompson to get out and get a hand in his face to bother the shot attempt.
Lamar Johnson spotting up, and he hits. It's 43-33. Once again, a 10-point ball game with 13:51 left to go in the second half.
And give the Bronx some credit. They're down by 18 at the end of the half and really looked like they had nothing going. They've showed some life, cut into that lead right from the get-go. Now they've gotten themselves back into it a bit.
And Lamar Johnson leads Ryder with 11 points as they've cut it back to 10. Hodge kicks to the corner. Brown hits. That's a three-pointer, and the lead is back to 13, 46-33.
The dribble penetration against the zone, getting into the gap, forcing 2 to guard 1, and then able to kick it out to the open spot-up shooter.
13:20 left to go second half. Here's Jason Thompson on the post. Little strong. Ryan Thompson trying to keep it alive and nearly comes up with a steal, but Purple Eagles back the other way on top by 13. Hodge right to the basket. Brown gets the miss and lays it back in. 48-33 Niagara.
And that's how they clean things up if they're not shooting the ball well. Get off to the 2-12 start from the floor in the second half, but able to clean things up on the glass.
5 quick points here for Niagara. Mansell tried, or rather Johnson tried to answer, couldn't do it, and Brown gets the rebound.
If you're a good team, when you're struggling offensively, you got to find easy shots. Sometimes you do it with your defense, forcing turnovers, getting out and running. For Niagara, they get their easy shots off the offensive board.
Niagara with the ball, leading 48-33, 12.5 minutes left to go in the second half. Sharon Fisher, nice up fake around Thompson, right to the bucket, no. Tipped out to Lewis.
There's that quick first step, nimble feet despite the big body frame from Sharon Fisher.
And so a fresh shot clock, 25 to go on the shot clock. Niagara with the 15-point lead. It was an 18-point advantage at the intermission. Ten seconds to shoot. And Lorenzo Miles uses the screen from Brown and looks to go one-on-one. Trying to pass it to Fisher and lost it on the way up. Ryder basketball. Well, Lamar Johnson has pulled Ryder back within 10, but then Niagara, using the outside and inside attack, has pushed it back to 15. First, the three-point shot from the corner by Cliff Brown, and then the work inside. What can Brown do for you? Ryder trailing Niagara 48-33. 11:47 left to go in the second half. Quarterfinal number 3 here in Bridgeport, Connecticut. All winding its way to Monday night's championship game. That'll be a 9 o'clock tip-off on ESPN2. Already Marist and Siena are in the semifinals. The Red Foxes and the Saints will face each other at 6 o'clock tomorrow night in the semis. And Niagara trying to follow suit, where the entire tournament so far has gone to the favorite. And since a 12-11 score in this one early in the first half, it has been Niagara in control. Thompson playing confidently and drawing the foul on Edgemonier. And over the last couple of years, we've really seen the growth and maturation of Jason Thompson, where, you know, a year or two ago, he wouldn't have immediately commanded that ball and backed his way down and smoothly gotten himself into a good position.
As a member of the all-rookie team, he got his points off of energy tips, finding some shots, but now he's able to sit in the post, shape up as well, and score it when they're able to get him the basketball.
Ryan Thompson changes direction, finds his big brother, who throws it down. Jason Thompson now into double figures with 11. Make that 12.
And Ryan Thompson able to get deep into the lane, draw the second defender, and then once again, if you don't have a body on Jason Thompson, he's so long, he's quick off his feet. One of the reasons why, as we've talked about it, Doug, over the course of this year, he's had NBA scouts that have been at games throughout the year to see him, and next year those numbers are going to certainly increase.
Nice wraparound pass to Edgemonier from Duffy.
Well, they didn't need an offensive rebound on that, but you saw those numbers prior to. 15 offensive rebounds for the Purple Eagles to just 2 for Ryder.
And now how about this? Benson Edgemonier had his career high 6 points in the regular season finale against Ryder. He has matched that here tonight.
Again, sometimes it's a matchup, and as we said, Joe Mahalik said he was going to get him some more minutes because of the way that he played in that regular season finale, as well as to give some size to try and combat Jason Thompson in the post.
See Cliff Brown come back in, replacing Edgemonier. Brown leads the Purple Eagles with a double-double, 12 points and 10 rebounds. Mouton with a nice burst of speed and a left-handed finish.
And that's where he's been able to finish. Hasn't made outside shots, but when he's been able to turn the corner and get to the rim, he's delivered 1 for 5 from beyond the three-point line. Start forgetting about the three. Get yourself to the rim.
Duffy, a little strong on that one. Brown keeps it alive, and then the foul against Ryder, and it's against Jason Thompson. So that is number 4 on the big guy.
They'll say it to the officials, no, no, no. Long shot leads to long rebound. No block out by Jason Thompson. I see your inquisitive look as you were trying to figure out where the foul was on that replay.
Maybe we need to look at it a few times. Maybe I just missed it, but I didn't see it. Nor did Jason Thompson. So now midway through the second half, Tommy Dempsey says we got to keep him out there with the 4 fouls.
You might as well. You're down by 13. If you're going to make a run, he's got to be on the floor. Go 2-3 zone. Off the baseline, out of bounds. Try and protect him a little bit.
Brown off the mark. Mouton clears. Well, we're just told in our headphones, the guys in the truck say they did change the call. It was originally called on Thompson, but then they did change it to Johnson, so Lamar Johnson picks up the foul.
And that's important. Jason Thompson with 14 points now, starting to take over a little bit.
But still now with only 3 fouls, and now a traveling violation called against Brown. And once again, Thompson's in the middle of it, in a heap, in a potentially dangerous situation when you talk about his foul trouble.
Just good solid post defense. He gives up his body, but before the contact is a traveling call.
Well, clearly Niagara head coach Joe Mahalik has his guys well schooled, take it right at the great shot blocker hard as you can. Try and get him in foul trouble.
And that's the important way to attack any shot blocker. Mansell coming right off that screen, stepping into a three. Niagara cuts the lead down into single digits. Terrific execution out of their half-court offense.
This is the closest it's been since the first half. The last time it was a single-digit deficit, it was 19-11. We'll take a break from Bridgeport, Connecticut.
Every choice really does make a difference. In you. In how you see the world. In where you'll go and what you'll do. In the people you'll touch. In the lives you'll change. Including yours. Niagara University. Education that makes a difference.
50-42, Niagara's lead has been cut to 8. 8:53 left to go in the second half, and MAAC fans get in the game. Play the MAAC Text to Win Trivia Challenge powered by Verizon Wireless. Just text the word MAAC to 2244 from your Verizon Wireless phone for a chance to win prizes only from Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you. It's been quite a role reversal here in the second half. The Bronx have already outscored their entire first half output, which had matched their lowest half this season. 7-0 Rider run to cut it from 15 down to 8. Miles pass to a vacated corner. Nice job by Tyrone Lewis to track it down though and avoid the turnover.
Used his quickness to come up with the loose ball.
Brown firing it up again. He and Duffy have gone cold from the perimeter here in the second half.
And the Bronx have done a better job, especially over the last 5 minutes, of cleaning things up on the defensive board.
Bad pass by Mouton taken away by Brown. And a blocking foul at the other end will send Sharon Fisher back to the line to shoot two.
Terrence Mouton was upset with himself. He knew that that was a big turnover at the other end. An opportunity to cut into the 8-point lead. Instead, the turnover allows Niagara to get out and run. See the bump against Fisher.
Well, Joe Mihalik, we talked earlier about the fact that he was an apprentice under Morgan Wooten at DeMatha back in the 70s and 80s as an assistant coach. And one of the things that he most learned from Coach Wooten was salesmanship, making sure that you taught to your players to assume you're going to win, to expect to win, to have that attitude going into this type of situation into tournament play, to say we are planning on winning the whole thing here.
And talking to him this morning, certainly he was confident, thought his team was as well, but he said confident but cautious. He said, you know, throughout this season we've played well at times, but we've also lost to the likes of Delaware, so we got to make sure that we bring it each and every game. They brought it big time in the first half, but they've allowed Rider to get back into the ball game here in the second half.
Who was it for your favorite baseball team, the Mets, who once said you got to believe?
Absolutely.
It's that, yeah, it's that kind of mindset that Joe Mihalik brings to everything that he does in regards to the Niagara basketball team.
And I think he's taking a timeout right now to say, you know what, let's stop trading baskets. They did a great job defensively in the first half when they held Rider to just 18 points. The Riders certainly had a better go of it here in the second half for Tommy Dempsey. And able to get some scores inside. Jason Thompson getting it done on the offensive board, something that they have not been able to do in the first half. But Niagara's had the answer. Three-point shooting, a big part of what the Purple Eagles do, big part of what they've done here once again tonight.
And Lorenzo Miles with that three-pointer, now in double figures with 12. He and Cliff Brown both have 12. 9 for J.R. Duffy, 9 for Sharon Fisher. On the other side, Jason Thompson's got 16 points and 8 rebounds. And Lamar Johnson has 11 points. Harris Mansell with 8. A little pressure here full court from Niagara. Now it drops back. Johnson with a travel. I'm glad to see that call.
You don't see it a lot as he took the extra step, stepping into the three, and that wipes away A big three-point shot that would have got it back down into single digits.
But it is a travel, and it takes, like you say, points off the board. It's still an 11-point game.
At St. Peter's College, success is a team effort. St. Peter's College, education one student at a time.
Niagara back with an 11-point lead over Rider. The winner of this goes on to the MAAC semifinals tomorrow night against the winner of the next game coming up here tonight between Loyola and Fairfield. And very quietly, Stanley Hodge, the junior point guard for the Purple Eagles, he's 0 for 3 from the floor. No points tonight, but he does get his imprint on the game, Rob. He has 4 assists and 3 steals. And when you've got guys like Tyrone Lewis and Lorenzo Miles in the backcourt, you tend to be overshadowed, but it's another steadying performance and something that I think a lot of folks can take for granted, the fact that he's out there, and when he is in the game, he is the point guard, and the other guys work off him.
Yeah, steadying, a guy that's going to run the point for his team, not look for his own shot, but try and manufacture shots for his teammates.
Fisher lost it on the way up because he was fouled. 55-44 here in Bridgeport. Johnson commits the foul, and Sharon Fisher goes back to the free throw line, where he has been a regular visitor tonight. He's 5 out of 5 from the stripe.
Well, he gets himself to the line. He posts up and forces you to have to play behind him, and when he seals you up and you're playing from behind, you see his big body there. He just able to lean in, create contact, and get himself to the line.
Well, in our first game this afternoon, we saw Siena win, knock off Manhattan. And in that game, in the first half especially, another wide body in the MAAC, Michael Haddix, has that same kind of quality. Back to the basket, force the opposition to guard you a certain way, and you get yourself to the free throw line quite a lot.
And when you think of some of the more dominant players in the MAAC as far as post players are concerned, over the years, a lot of times they are wide bodies, not necessarily the 6'11" long athlete like a Jason Thompson, but more along the side, the undersized power forward that carves up space like a Sharon Fisher.
I'm thinking of a Shannon Bowman back in the day, a decade ago with Fairfield. And there, right on cue, is Mr. Hodge getting his first points of the night. Little smile for his buddy Cliff Brown as they head back up floor with a double-figure lead again.
And he knocked that 3 down right in front of his coach, Joe Mihalik, and Joe Mihalik with a big reaction after that. He'd like to see Hodge be a little bit more aggressive at times on the offensive end. Joe Mihalik's a guy that likes to coach scores, not afraid to let guys go.
How about that? Sharon Fisher, a one-man wrecking crew, the baby Barkley of the MAAC, takes on 3 Rider Broncs, wrestles the ball away, and prone on the floor, finds his teammate Lewis, who lays it in, and now a chance for a 3-point play. That is a heck of an effort from the junior power forward. Look at him fighting 3 other Rider players on the floor. He's the only Niagara player on the floor. Has the strength and presence of mind to get the ball to Lewis.
And as soon as he gets it to Lewis, Lewis quickly attacking the rim. The member of the MAAC all-rookie team because of his athletic ability and his ability to get himself to the rim. He's going to be a good player for Niagara.
Under 6 minutes left in regulation. If Rider's going to have one last push, it's pretty much got to come here. Jason Thompson missed it. Looked like Niagara was the last to touch, but the Purple Eagles get possession.
And the Broncs forced to get up in a full court pressure. As you said, Doug, they're going to make a run. They got to get something going right here, right now.
Well, they had cut it to 8 a couple of minutes ago, but Niagara off the timeout, regrouped, and has re-seized control. Wide open look. Brown that time had enough room to set himself and get off a good shot.
And you saw in the last 2 minutes one of the reasons why Niagara is such a dangerous team. They can score it quickly. All of a sudden you think you're back in the ball game. They get themselves going, knock down a couple threes, make a couple plays. You look up at the scoreboard and all of a sudden it's a 20-point game again.
Brown called for the travel. He's had another productive game, 15 points and 11 rebounds. Mansell, open look, no. Ryan Thompson kicks it back out to Johnson.
Just the 4th offensive rebound of the game for the Rider Broncs, so it's usually been one and done. As Niagara clearing the boards both ends of the floor.
Well, this has been a terrific battle between the top 2 rebounders in the conference, individual rebounders. Jason Thompson, #1, and Cliff Brown, #2.
But it's the depth of the rebounding ability for Niagara that's a big story as Fisher steps out and knocks down a 3. Bang, bang, bang. Stretching that out from beyond the 3-point line. As we said, the 3 ball, a big part of what Niagara does. Now the 11th 3 on the game for the Purple Eagles.
Fisher with 14 points, 8 rebounds. Thompson spins around Brown, who didn't seem to be ready to defend on the post.
He spun quickly, went right to the baseline on the left side, able to finish on the other side.
Hodge, great look, saw that one coming a mile away. Lewis with the easy layup.
Ryder forced to go chase, trying to trap the basketball, force a turnover. Instead, Niagara able to handle the basketball. That's one of the benefits of being able to have a couple point guards on the floor to attack, and both Miles as well as Hodge.
And Hodge picked up the assist, and as soon as he cleared the initial defense here, watch Lewis come flying in. Well, this was the previous play where Fisher hit the 3-pointer and feeling good about it, as he should.
The extended follow through. Kept it up as he was backing his way up the floor.
I got no problem with that, as long as you're not doing it to anybody, just enjoying your own success. Foul before the shot by Hodge, so no basket there, as the lead has ballooned back to 21. Jason Thompson and the Rider Broncs won their opening round game last night, but they're up against it here tonight. We'll take a break. The Niagara Purple Eagles, with Joe Mahalik at the helm, feeling good about their chances of reaching the MAAC semis tomorrow night.
A college that builds competence and character, where you're part of a team, a place of academic rigor that builds leaders, offering opportunity and values that prepare you for change, leadership, and life. The tradition, the community of Siena, educating for success, one student at a time.
Back in Bridgeport, Connecticut, 71-50, Niagara trying to put on the finishing touches of a quarterfinal win in what would be their 20th victory of the season. Stanley Hodge at the line. We've talked about both point guards, the veteran point guards, Hodge and Miles. They were also high school teammates at Gonzaga High School in Washington, D.C., and both playing instrumental roles here tonight. Well, this season, Aeropostale has been accumulating free throws along with the conference, and for each made free throw, they'll donate a t-shirt to youth groups within the MAAC community. And as you see, over 2,500 have been made heading into the weekend. Thank you very much, Aeropostale. Well, I'd say that's a decided advantage for the Niagara reserves.
Well, heading into the game, you expect that, though. They certainly get a lot of play off their bench. Tyrone Lewis and Stanley Hodge, two guys that basically are sixth starter type guys, especially Lewis with his ability to score the basketball.
The other X factor has been Benson Ejimonye. Matched his career high with 6 points.
Well, we expected him to get some minutes here tonight, and he's taken full advantage of his playing time.
Cliff Brown, nice job to play under control, but then lost it on the way up. Steal by Hodge. Great anticipation on the outlet.
And Joe Mihalik said, you know what, you could make a case that Stanley Hodge should have been the sixth man of the year in the MAAC. Michael Tuck, who had a fine season as well, coming off the bench for the Loyola Greyhounds, who we'll see next. But certainly I would suspect that Hodge was probably the runner-up in the voting amongst league coaches for that six-man award.
Fisher had it stripped by Thompson out of bounds. So with 9 to shoot, the Purple Eagles will inbound underneath their own basket. Reason to smile for all of the Purple Eagles as they have matched their largest lead of the ball game. Mouton's been taken out of the game, the senior from Lafayette, Louisiana, and by the way he's heading down the bench, you get the sense that he will not be coming back in. Head coach Tommy Dempsey sensing the fact that it's over and wanted to get his senior a chance to get a little bit of appreciation from the folks who've made the trip up from Central Jersey.
And Tommy Dempsey has really appreciated his efforts this year. He's had a solid senior season as he is able to turn himself more into a true point guard as opposed to being a combo guard as he was through most of his first 3 seasons.
And so the lone senior on the roster is on the bench, and the junior walk-on captain Kevin Hickman into the game. Second straight game here at the MAAC tournament that Hickman has gotten in. Jason Thompson tips it way up high off the glass and in.
The long arm of the law. As we were saying, Mouton, the only senior on this Rider team. Obviously, they've got to replace him at the point guard spot, but they've got a lot of pieces that will be back, and expectations will be a little bit higher next year for the Rider Bronx. Certainly Jason Thompson, one of those guys that'll be looked on as a potential Player of the Year candidate heading into next season.
Well, he's done a terrific job here in the second half playing with his 3 fouls. He just picked up his 4th. But on both ends of the floor, he's kept his aggressiveness and really made a difference, even though you look at the scoreboard now and you don't see that difference. He has played extremely well in the second half.
You'll see him coming up with the steal as he heads to the bench. Nearly another double-double, 1 rebound short of what would have been his 18th double-double on the season. But as we said, next year heading into it, he'll be a guy that will be considered a potential Player of the Year candidate, as will the guy shooting foul shots right there, Sharon Fisher. And the third guy that you'd expect to be part of that conversation will be up next is Gerald Brown, the leading scorer in a MAAC this season. The junior guard transfer from Providence also will be a potential preseason Player of the Year candidate next year.
Although, you know, we've kind of conceded that Gerald Brown will win the scoring title, but now that Sharon Fisher and the Purple Eagles have made it to the semifinal round, he will have played in enough games to qualify for the league scoring title. So they are almost neck and neck. He could catch Gerald Brown.
Yeah, both guys just a touch under 22 points. Cliff Brown knocking his teammates down there as they're trying to step around him. He's our Pepsi Player of the game.
The tomahawk from the 5'10" freshman from Levittown, PA, Tyrone Lewis.
And if we hadn't already shown our Pepsi Slam of the game, that might have been the Pepsi Slam of the game.
Either way, Pepsi more happy.
More happy.
Are you more happy?
You know, I was hoping for a little better game here coming down the stretch. You know, when you're going 4 games throughout the day, want to see some close competitive battles, but number 1 and number 2 seeds had a lot to do with that. Both guys, both teams look good. Marist came out and looked very sharp in their quarterfinal win. And same could be said of Niagara. They came out and really locked down defensively in the first half, holding Rider to just 18 points. Credit the Bronx for making a game of it there in the second half, but in the end, it was just too many weapons for the Purple Eagles.
Fisher can't get the roll. We're looking for another stoppage in play, though, so that Andrew Patterson, a freshman from just up the road in Hartford, can get into the game. He's sitting at the scorer's table. Joe Mihalik trying to get him in there. Patterson has a big smile on his face, and now we have a whistle that will allow him to come into the ball game.
10-second violation. Tommy Dempsey not happy with that. But with the 10-second violation, as you look at the shot clock was down to 24. With that, Sharon Fisher will be able to come out of the game, and Patterson will be able to check in.
And this is Patterson, 6'5" freshman from the Masters School in Hartford. Looks like he won't get a shot because the Purple Eagles don't need to take a shot. They are going to hold on to the basketball and move to the MAAC semifinals. Niagara with his 20th win of the year, and for the 7th time in the 9 years Joe Mihalik has been the head coach at Niagara, he is in the MAAC tournament semis.
And 3 out of the last 5 years, they've been able to take it one step further and get themselves into the conference championship game. A lot of answers. Tommy Dempsey's team certainly disappointed with tonight's outcome, but they've got to be excited about the fact that they were able to double their win total from last year.
And they have a winning record at the end of the year. Jason Thompson dejected now, but the team went 16-15 this year. Split their 2 games in the MAAC tournament, but they're done while Joe Mihalik and his Purple Eagles all smiles as they pick up win number 20 on the year and run their winning streak to 9 in a row. Jaron Fisher, high fives all around. He had 16 points and 11 rebounds, a double-double for the junior forward. Cliff Brown, our Pepsi player of the game.